Fed minutes out. Once again, they show they're clueless. What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Bubba's Daily Update, and this is an early update. It is 2:30 Eastern Time. The markets have just digested the Fed minutes, and of course, the markets have been all over the map, being down big, over 200 this morning, getting all the way to positive territory, only to be down about 100 and change as I tape this right now. Once again, the Fed comes out and says, we don't have inflation, but they are worried about wage inflation. Well, again, I want to know about my gas and my food inflation, which I keep paying more for. I heard some experts say that all the food prices are down. I'd like to know what grocery store they're shopping at. And just a reminder that when we talk on this program, we're strictly talking general markets and levels that we're looking at in long-term views. Somebody had emailed me yesterday asking me why I went from the world is coming to an end to the world is fine. I don't do that. I say it what I see, and I look for one level at a time. That's always what I'm doing for. I never make dramatic calls, although I do think there's a black swan event coming, and I do think the highs are in for the year, and I do think the markets are going lower. But I don't think they're going lower tomorrow at one time. I think that you have markets that work back and forth, and they trade, and you get big sell-offs followed by big dead cat or rip your face off rallies, which I think we saw yesterday. I think today you're seeing more of the true market. You're seeing a market that is selling off, a market that is under pressure. Once again, led by the NASDAQ and the Russell. The Dow has been the strongest of the bunch, which only shows you that the markets are, there's more of a fear trade going on. It's more of a risk-off environment. There's money flowing into the Dow. We continue to ask the question, though, a year ago when people were begging for 3%, and now they can get it easily, why aren't they taking it? That will only show you how deep the sell-off is going to be when it does come. Now, again, nobody can predict when we're going to have this big sell-off, but I do know this, okay? The banks, somebody commented about the banks not lending. The banks are buying loans like they're giving them away. They are buying them like they are free, okay? That there is no risk to them. The third-party vendors of loans are selling them to banks at record numbers, bigger than they were in 2008. So you tell me if that leads to a problem or not. I don't know. I would say most likely the four pillars of debt are going to create a major problem. In the meantime, markets were mixed. And again, I think before the end of the day, I think they close closer to their lows than they do to their highs. That would be my take. And again, this is being filmed an hour and a half before the markets close because I'll be on Fox at 4 o'clock today. When we look at the overall picture, there's a lot of willingness to sell, okay? You've got gold, which is relatively unchanged, but towards the higher end of the resistance level. You've got the bonds that continue to rally. Now, that is typically a flight to quality. Rallying bond futures usually means interest rates falling, which they have fallen recently, but we're still well over 3% in the 10-year, which is another issue that you want to consider, that money will flow there. Now, again, you've got the greed of investors trying to get that last push up in the equity markets, ignoring all the problems that are out there right now, which is student loan debt, auto loan debt, credit card debt, and margin debt. Okay, so we're all still buying stocks with money we don't have and borrowing it to do so, buying stocks we can't afford. So again, that becomes a bigger issue when you look at it. In the meantime, I don't know where the markets are going to go tomorrow. I would tend to think that you'd want to sell into rallies. You'd want to sell resistance levels. I will say that there's a good chance we could close near the lows of the week, but we'll see. We had an awfully big rally yesterday, so it may be hard to get there, but I think you have a chance to take that out. Remember, the momentum, once the sellers come in, there's no telling how fast they can push it, which is why we're looking to sell rallies. And again, I'd be looking at about 2820 in the S&P as a spot to sell. And if we break down below and continue to go down, I'd look to sell at 2800. Again, there's levels on the way up that I would be very happy to sell it. In the meantime, grains were kind of mixed and to flat today. Wheat was weak, corn was flat, beans were a little bit stronger, but nothing great. But I think that's great action, looking to see if we can push higher. Remember, corn and soybeans closed right near resistance levels, so they should pull back a little bit before they spike out. Wheat's in a solid consolidation band that will break out. I think it'll break to the upside. Meats were mixed. Cattle was a shade higher. hogs went down to the bottom end of the range again. The December hogs down around the 54, 55 level. So we'll look to be buyers of that there. As I said, gold is down a little bit, but nothing really to worry about. We'll look to be a buyer probably around 1220 again, as we'll look to reload the wagon. And of course, the Bitcoin or the cryptos, pretty much flat, not a lot going on. But the big picture here is, once again, the pundits don't want the free markets to work. They want the Fed to do all the dirty work. And of course, the Fed has no clue of what to do next. This is one of the issues we've struggled with for years. Since the history of the Federal Reserve, it's only been how can they pound the middle class? And I think that's the bigger issue. And I think that will create the selling, along with the overlending, even though it's secretly overlending, because the banks aren't lending generally to the public. They're lending through third-party sources. That's the way I see it. We'll look for how the markets close, and we'll be back tomorrow with Bubba's Daily Update. This is Todd Bubba Horwitz. Of course, remember, we're doing a webinar on Saturday, hedging. If you'd like to participate, it's free. Just go to BubbaTrading.com and download the link, sign it up, and you'll be emailed a registration, and you can be all set and come and join me as we talk about hedging a lot. Of course, don't forget about our high school program. If you want to help us out there, at Patreon, patreon.com/Bubba Trading. And of course, the Bubba Show every day from 4 to 5 Eastern at LibertyTalk.fm. We got a couple of baseball games today. We like both underdogs. We'll see you back here tomorrow on Thursday with Bubba's Daily Update. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks.